We make assumptions all day long as humans, without even knowing it. And most of those assumptions are not accurate, and we act on them, and then we have other messes to clean up. Sound familiar? Happens all the time in workplaces. And as a former mediator, going into workplaces to help them resolve their conflicts, I saw this all the time. Hi, I'm Charmaine Hammond, your expert in communication, conflict resolution, and collaboration. Let's talk about how to manage assumptions, because they really do get in the way of good communication, effective communication. And they actually can damage relationships when assumptions are not checked out. Here's an example. Imagine the team all sitting around the boardroom table, some people looking up at the clock because two people are missing. And somebody makes a quiet statement to the colleague sitting next to them that sounds something like this: "They're always late." That was a big assumption and a bit of a judgment. And it sets the tone for the meeting. So what happens at this point is the team is making assumptions about why the two individuals are late. They don't care about us. Our team meeting's not important enough. They're stretching the rules. They don't respect our leadership. All of these are assumptions. The two people now show up. They apologize with great integrity for being late, sit down quietly, ready to start the meeting. And there's tension. And somebody makes a snarky response. Something like this: "Well, great to see you could finally show up." Nobody asked if everything was okay or why they were late. They were late actually because on their way to work, one of the company employees who was in a van was in a car accident. And they stopped to make sure everything was okay. Imagine how this team meeting could have gone if this assumption didn't get clarified. The rest of the team wasn't even aware that this happened. So when you find yourself making assumptions, before you react, before you respond, before you push back or say something, consider asking a question instead. You might just find that the assumption is completely inaccurate and the information you get from your colleague helps you with something different. I'm Charmaine Hammond, your expert in communication, conflict resolution, and collaboration, and you can find out more about me at charmainehammond.com. Here's a little bonus. What do you do if you're late? Because we've all been there. Traffic on the way to work, you're late getting out the door, getting your kids off to school. How do you handle it if you're late? There's a tendency for people to draw lots of attention to being late. They come into a meeting and they've got their purse over their shoulder and they rush in and they open the door loudly and they sigh and they make a lot of noise and they sit down and detract from the meeting by rambling on about the weather or the traffic or whatever caused them to be late. It disrupts the meeting. People get irritated because they were in process. Here's what you can do instead if you're late. Walk in quietly. Look at people and smile and say, "My apologies. I am so sorry for being late. Thank you for waiting for me. I'm ready to continue." And sit down and be ready to start the meeting. Don't start digging around in your briefcase or your purse for things. Don't start talking to your neighbor about what you missed. Simply be present after you've apologized and be ready to step into the meeting. This will help you gain respect from your colleagues and allow the meeting to continue. I'm Charmaine Hammond, your expert in communication, conflict resolution, and collaboration, and you can find out more at charmainehammond.com.